Hi, I'm Jason Debly, and tonight's review is Basil Hayden's Bourbon, Kentucky Straight Bourbon. I haven't reviewed this whiskey in about 10 years. 2010 was the last time I really tried it up until now. And Basil Hayden's, from memory, I recall had a fairly high rye content in the mash bill, but when you actually tried it, it wasn't very spicy, because usually I associate a high rye content mash bill as being spicy, but not the case with Basil Hayden's. It was pretty smooth, very approachable, kind of the gateway drug of the bourbon world. It wasn't cheap then, and it's not cheap now. It was more of a premium, it was marketed as a very premium bourbon, but it kind of lacked some pizzazz then. But it wasn't bad. It had an 8-year age statement. Since then, it's lost the age statement. The alcohol by volume is 40%, and the mash bill, I think, has changed. Now, the mash bill, I can't recall what it used to be, but the mash bill now is 63% corn, I think 27% rye, 10% malted barley. So it's changed a bit, and of course that will impact flavor. Price was not cheap. There. Okay. Oh. Since I last reviewed it, it is now like a silicone cork. Well, silicone closure. It's not actual cork anymore, but that's okay. Save the environment, We're not going to be too difficult. The distillery is Jim Beam, owned by Beam Global or Beam Suntory, because I think the Japanese company Suntory bought out Beam Global, creating Beam Suntory. The nose is pleasant. It's classic bourbon notes, but it's quite mild. I'm picking up, good rye, charcoal, charred wood, vanilla notes. It's nice. On the palate, you're greeted initially with a fairly rich, integrated corn, kind of wheat, honey, a little bit of honey, malted, barley type flavor profile. The finish is not very long, and then it disappears. It's like gone. There's no rude alcohol note. There's no bite. Very smooth. Reminds me of, in the Scotch whiskey world, it would be a blend. It would be like Chivas Regal. It would be, to the novice Scotch enthusiast, yes, that is good because it's smooth. The most ugly word in whiskey appreciation. But it's smooth, and I think novices would like this. The finish, you've got sweet corn, you've got a zing of like limestone, coriander, a grassy note. It's not bad. And there's oak. There's a distinct oak note on the finish. It's not a bad whiskey, but for the price, it's not great. And dropping the age statement has taken away a bit of the character. The problem with Basil Hayden's is that for the money, you would do better with, Wild Turkey or Knob Creek, although those are a lot stronger and higher ABV. But what you would have to do is adjust those with a bit of water if you're new to bourbon, to take it down a notch, or even ice. God forbid ice. In the hot weather, ice, bourbon, it works. Not a bad drink. Wouldn't buy it again. I would seek out something a bit more complex, and I would want better value for money. The other bourbon that comes to mind is Old Grandad. I think it's like 114 proof. Old Grandad is cheaper and probably more interesting kick to it. Again, you might want to add some water. So Basil Haydens, not bad, but not great. Not worth the money. Thanks for tuning in. Next week I have another bourbon. It's Jim Beam single barrel, higher ABV. Don't know if there's an age statement. I don't think so. I just bought the bottle, so we're doing a little bit of a bourbon run, and then we'll go back to Speyside. Take care.